Well, hello, I'm Nathan Judah. I'm here with Chief Sports Reporter, Mr. Maher. Not a classic today at Molineux. Wolves 0, Brighton 0. Yes. This could be a very short video. Yeah. It wasn't the best of games, was it?
It wasn't. Really disappointing. I don't want to
build it all up
from a personal view, but I was having mostly covered Villa's battle against relegation in the last few months. I was really looking forward to come to Molineux and see Wolves. I felt a sense that it was a real opportunity. They could have gone, if they'd won by 2 goals, they could have gone fourth. But an opportunity really missed. They just never really got going.
No, they didn't. No.
And perhaps it was just a reminder that in the Premier League there are no easy games. There's no straightforward. I mean, Brighton haven't won since December. They are in the relegation battle, but they've drawn a lot of games. They've been tough to beat. Brighton's biggest problem has been not winning matches. They can't find a way to get 3 points rather than 1. I thought Brighton today were quite good. I thought they did what I expected them to do. They had about as many chances as I expected them to do, which was a couple. The problem is Wolves had about the same and just never really got going themselves. Too many key players particularly had off days. And I thought that the game was summed up by you couldn't single any particular player out, but Ruben Neves, who's had a really good few weeks. One occasion puts the ball out of play, and then in the second half he's looking to find either Jimenez or Jota and ends up lumping a ball right down the middle to no one. And I just thought that just kind of summed it up. And sometimes these games do happen where it just does not click and you just don't get going. And
yeah, we all knew what Brighton were going to do. So does that beg the question really that were you slightly surprised? And speaking to the fans after the game, a lot thought that they would go for 3 up front and really go for it today. I understand that they played 2 up front against Norwich, but we knew that Brighton probably better organised than Norwich, and chances were going to be few and far between. That maybe they could have sacrificed 1 out of those 3 in the centre of midfield.
No, perhaps in hindsight. I mean, I don't think Brighton sat back. They probably did for the first 10-15 minutes, but actually, Brighton are a nice footballing team. Kind of up until about 25 yards from the opposition goal, and they don't particularly sit in. And perhaps you're right. I mean, Wolves having the extra man in midfield, they may be sacrificed a bit up front, and perhaps having another Traore up there, 3-4-3. May have given Wolves a bit more in the final third, or may have been able to exploit a bit more space. Sure. But Traore came on for the last 26 minutes, and he did a bit. He got the crowd on their feet a bit more. It didn't really create anything. It was still a couple of chances that Wolves created. Obviously, he was involved in the one, the build up to the one shot on target they managed in 90 minutes. Yeah. But there's also the issue with his shoulder, which you don't know whether that was perhaps in the thinking as well. I'm not sure whether Nuno will ever admit that. But I think I wasn't particularly surprised that they went 3-5-2 simply because it perhaps worked against Norwich, but it didn't really work today. But whether 3-4-3 would have worked, I just wonder whether it was just one of those days where things just don't click, and you've got too many key men who were just out of form.
Do you think sometimes they struggle a little bit though, Matt? Like with sorry to cut you off, but with Brighton have come in and had more possession than Wolves today. Now I know Wolves are a counter-attacking side, but the impetus should be with them, shouldn't they? If they want to achieve Champions League football and take the bull by the horns, that they should be dominating possession against these type of teams. Do you think? Yeah,
they should, but let's say Brighton have possession in a lot of games. I just felt today Wolves just had too many players who just had serious off days. You've got players who you would normally, and the midfield 3 were all guilty of it, just giving the ball away cheaply, and often under very little pressure.
Yeah.
Like I say, it just felt like it was a game where they just never got started, and it's. I understand what people say about systems and taking the ball, but essentially, if you've got too many players have off days like that, collective off days, then you are going to struggle. It was a disappointment. and perhaps a reminder that we've looked at these next 4 games as a huge opportunity for Wolves. You know, nothing's a given, and they have only won 10 games all season in the Premier League out of 29, and you know they haven't put these runs together. And this was a chance to win 3 on the spin for the first time this season in the league, and you know, they failed to do that again. So. Yeah, frustrating all round.
Wolves have now played more games now than they did in the entirety of last season, and it's just relentless now. They go to Greece, they go to Athens on Thursday night, and they go straight to West Ham as well. There's more chances and more opportunities, and they've got to recover pretty quickly.
They have, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure the tiredness question is going to will continue to be asked throughout the season, but. You know, this is often for Wolves, a very long rest. You know, of 6 days after the Spurs game, and they tend to have, you know, and that was after, you know, that came, you know, 3 days after Braga. You know, they tend to have done okay. You know,
they never lost
after the Europa League games, which is you perhaps wouldn't have expected. I mean, you know, maybe the fixture list hasn't been congested enough.
Yes.
But I mean that'll be you know, that'll be interesting whether those, you know, the games have taken their toll. I'm just not so sure. I think you've seen that, you know, they looked a team that have been getting stronger in recent weeks, and today, it just never happened. I mean, it's difficult in isolation to take one game, particularly after the euphoria of beating Tottenham. You know, if this is a sign that, you know, that the tiredness is going to kick in and they are going to fade out, probably won't know for a few weeks. I think at the moment it just feels like, you know, they've missed an opportunity to put even more pressure on those teams above. It's a huge opportunity now for Wolves. I mean, you know, nobody seems to want it, and we'll have to see how, you know, Chelsea and Man United go on tomorrow. But there are going to be a few more twists and turns between now and the end of the season. You just really can't see anyone running away, you know, just suddenly grasping it, because nobody's been able to do that to this point over 28, 29 games. So we'll have to see what happens next week. But a huge game in Turkey to prepare for now.
Yeah, not meant to be today, but hopefully better times to come very soon. It's Wolves 0, Brighton 0. For all the post-match reaction, make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.